Hello and welcome back to the Join Dota League Season 4 Division 1/2 playoffs. This is going to be the third and final game of the best of 3 series between Donkey Dodo and Denial Esports. I'm Grannis Fee, and I'll be joined again by Mike Loris for his HeflaTV presentation of these games.
Yeah, so we've had some messy games from both sides, or mostly sloppy plays, I would say. Not exactly the tightest Dota I've ever seen in the world, but this is going to determine who moves, I believe, who moves down to the lower bracket of this 1-2 playoffs and who stays in upper. So both these two teams, even if they do lose, they have a chance of still sticking a spot in Division 1. And we have a Night Stalker first pick. This was first banned in game number 1, and we'll see if they could make this happen. It has been getting a lot more traction as of late, and it's certainly very entertaining to watch. At least it still kind of is. I'm sure it'll get boring eventually.
I don't know, I never really liked Night Stalker as a hero to begin with, but we'll just have to see how it works out. It has been first banned in both of games previous, and this time around we're going to see Ogremajai taking his place. Denial Esports are going to start things off with something they're very, very comfortable with, although Funzy, their normal Beastmaster player, is not with them right now, so I assume this is going to be fucking Mads' hero.
So yeah, it is kind of weird to see Denial sticking to the plan, as it were. This is pretty much a standard Denial opening. Any other team first picking Beastmaster, and it would probably raise a couple of eyebrows, but for Denial, it's more or less just par for the course. So Beastmaster Jakiro, the opening for Denial, it is kind of aggressive, as Jakiro picks usually are, but this is a Night Stalker on the other end, and for Denial, Liquid Fire is okay versus Night Stalker. Beastmaster is okay as well once he gets level 6 defensively, but you never really want to be using that defensively. So Denial, they need heroes to protect themselves against lots of early aggression. I suppose Jakiro is also another pseudo ban, as Night Stalker Jakiro is pretty deadly. But for Donkey Dota, they have pretty much all the flexibility in the world moving forward. They could even use this Night Stalker as a hero just to buy space for a late game carry.
For sure. They'll follow things up with the Skyroth Mage. A lot of silence. It's usually pretty rare to see inside a draft, coming out from these two heroes in particular. And, well, it might shy Denial away from picking up something along the likes of Morphling or Weaver, one of those more mobile carries. They're going to ban out the Slark themselves, and Templar Assassin going to be taken out by Donkey Dodo. I assume this is going to be a Midnight Stalker for them, although
5 seconds.
It can vary between roaming, support, safe lane, farming, Midnight Stalker. I've seen aggressive tri-lane Night Stalker as well as of late. A lot of teams are experimenting with fitting him into their lineup just because of the utility that Darkness provides.
Yeah, I think I like safe lane Night Stalker the best. Midlane Night Stalker is good if you know that the enemy has an average/weak mid laner. So, like, if he was up against Viper or Razor, you probably don't want to put your Night Stalker there. But up against someone like a Dragon Knight or something, then yeah, put your Night Stalker there. He'll be just fine. It looks like Donkey, they're going to get rid of some of the worst matchups for the Night Stalker. So maybe they are planning for now at putting the NS mid. But Denial with the Venomancer pick, now that's a pretty decent pick versus Night Stalker. The slow is pretty darn crippling. It's not an end-all pick, but the more slows and the more crowd control you have, the better it will be. This is a very Denial series of picks.
It really is. I don't think you can get more Denial than this, if that makes any sense. Venomancer, Beastmaster, Jakiro, this is their wheelhouse. Just a lot of pushing power, some decent aggression, but can scale well late. Donkey Dodo going to pick up a Witch Doctor for themselves, but already they have some decent tools to kite the Night Stalker and reduce his damage. Even with Hunter in the Night going to work, the amount of attack speed and as well as the movement speed slows, Night Stalker can be kited pretty effectively. And ooh, Denial. Gonna pick up a Bounty Hunter for themselves. They really need to play this super aggressively, and this game should not be one where teams are passively farming, as the first two have been. No Naga Siren this time, and well, I'll eat my words in a couple of picks, but you know.
Yeah. Last pick Naga Siren from Donkey. It actually won't be terrible, like, in all honesty.
It wouldn't.
Denial last game, they had a very similar strategy of just, we're going to go and push things. We're going to be very aggressive, more along the hero killing lines, less along the pushing lines. But Bounty Hunter is the pick for Denial. I've seen one Bounty Hunter so far in this new patch, and it was a 4-position roamer, which actually worked out really well. It was actually with a Night Stalker, which was, I thought, a pretty sweet combination. I don't know if this is going to be a solo offlane Bounty Hunter or what, but no matter what, it should be a pretty interesting game at the very least, as hunting down and killing off a Skyroth Mage or Witch Doctor is very easy.
Yeah, honestly, I like seeing the Bounty Hunter played in more of a aggressive roaming style. Maybe start out in a dual lane, the off lane, maybe even with the Beastmaster, just to soak experience so you can get Bounty Hunter off the ground. You really need level 2 ASAP before you're actually able to accomplish much. Getting both the Invis and the Janatas though, and like an Orb of Venom thrown in there is ideal. On top of it all, and level 6 is where he really starts to shine. After the new changes, pretty much every kill that you get should be a track kill, and just the amount of utility that it offers and the gold that you get as a bounty hunter is honestly quite ridiculous. I think Dagon Bounty Hunter is probably one of the better ways to build him, honestly, right now. Just with the amount of sustain that it gives you and burst damage, it synergizes as well with the hero and the playstyle all around. That or an early medallion. Although, generally, for Denial, they like building that on their Beastmaster. Donkey Dodo can go ahead and pick themselves up a Timber Saw. Right now, Denial's hard lockdown is pretty much limited to the Beastmaster Roar, and to a lesser extent, the Ice Path. I think they can get away with this Timber Saw, even though there aren't the greatest amount of strength heroes on Denial.
Mascari played a pretty mean Timbersaw in game number 1, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Donkey pick up another super mobile hero in their next picking stage as well, because you said Denial, they're really low on the crowd control effects right now. And it is unlikely that with an Abaddon pick, they don't have any more crowd control with their last pick. So Donkey Dota will be able to blink around, run around, and will be fine. Maybe not run around as much since there's a lot of slowing from Denial, but certainly the stunning action from Denial is limited, which is why we see the Queen of Pain being banned out right now. A lot more burst damage. That would have actually been a pretty sweet pickup for Donkey, but for right now, it really depends on how they want to shape out their lanes. They could assume that the mid lane is going to be pretty weak no matter what Donkey, so they could either choose to grab something like a Storm and absolutely crush it, or just put the Night Stalker there. It looks like Faceless Void is going to be the pick, which is pretty interesting. So Night Stalker mid, it seems?
Yeah, it looks that way. Faceless Void safe lane farming, Timber Saw in the off lane. They have a lot of different ways that they could shake down all of these heroes. They're all decent solo laners in their own right, and it just depends on what they feel Denial are going for, in my book.
Well, Donkey Dota have a lot of mobility with their heroes, and Denial, they're just going to have to catch up and hopefully land some kills early game tracks and be fine in that regard. But I'm not sure. Donkey Dota, they have a lot of bulk and they have a lot of just charge in and we're just going to YOLO in power. Whereas for Denial, the Abaddon is, I guess, going to help them hunt down kills, but Denial, they're pretty much working with the same exact draft as last game. They have to go aggressive. And if they don't, if they mess up, then they're just completely screwed. Like, there's no way that these heroes take it late.
For sure. Right now, we'll see who's actually playing on which heroes. For Denial, there's no real surprises, I suppose. Paris going to be playing on his Venomancer, Innocent on the Jakiro, D-Tax actually going to be playing on the Beastmaster. Yeah, that's going to be a replacement for Funzy. Fucking Mad going to be playing on Bounty Hunter, and Cryogy on the Abaddon.
And for Donkey, we got DH playing the Carry Faceless Void. Inuyasha is going to be playing the Night Stalker. Aki on the Witch Doctor with Illusionist on the Skywrath Mage. That leaves Mascari once again on the Timber Saw. So, yeah, I think the draft for Denial is, it's very delicate. They have, of course, chances to make it work. And if it does work, they could snowball really hard into DD and just crush them early on. But DD just definitely have a lot more flexibility in how they approach this game. And it looks like it is going to just be, well, given Inuyasha's selection of the Night Stalker, a Midnight Stalker, and then top lane DH looking to go it solo as the Faceless Void with an offensive tri-lane with Timbersaw. I don't know if it's going to stay like this, but if it does, then this solo safe lane Bounty Hunter is not going to have a good time.
I'm kind of expecting them to swing Masakari towards the mid lane. Yeah, with their loadouts, it doesn't really tell you much. Inuyasha also starting out with a Tango Salve, 2 Gauntlets. The Stout Shield on the Timber Saw is really the only difference between them, and you're probably expecting a Venomancer mid, so maybe it is just going to be that matchup, which Masakari in game number 1 did have quite a fun time in. They're going to bump themselves into fucking Mad to start things out with. Fucking Mad shouldn't die here. They have some sentries. Oh dear, he's in a heap of trouble. Jumped upon, the burst damage is huge. They probably need to drop another sentry. Do they even need to? No. And Yasha going to draw first blood, and my goodness. Bounty Hunter didn't know what hit him. That was
only a matter of time.
That was freaking smooth as butter. Yeah, fucking Mad knows it. That was amazingly well played by DD. They positioned everyone right behind the tree line. They have the Timbersaw down here, and if you're a Bounty Hunter and you see a Timbersaw down in the bottom lane, you don't think anything of it. You're like, oh, well, it's a Timbersaw bottom lane solo. That's pretty much what we expected. But you don't expect there to be everyone already there with a sentry ward already on the ground. That was some next level stuff from DD, and Bounty Hunter just got baited hook, line, and sinker. Easy play from DD, and fantastic way to start the game for them.
Definitely. It's not the end-all be-all for Denial, but it definitely isn't the way they wanted to start things off. Fucking Mad is on a long road to recovery. As far as quote-unquote support heroes or support players are concerned, Fucking Mad always seems to find a decent amount of farm wherever he seems to go, but Bounty Hunter might not be that hero until you get that level 6, and really nothing has changed for them. They need to get that snowball rolling. Innocent is going to be supported up top by the Abaddon, and these lanes are looking pretty solid for Denial. I don't expect any of them to die unless they get caught out by a nice paralyzing cask. Going to bounce once to Innocent, but not enough. They'll instead use the slow onto Cryo J. Not enough damage to chase him down, but already forced to eat through the majority of his regen.
So bottom lane is one of the most hilarious lanes that I've ever seen. The Bounty Hunter, Beastmaster, dual lane versus Timbersaw. This is not a good dual lane for Denial. Timbersaw will get solo levels of experience, and one melee hero versus two melee heroes when it's a Timbersaw you're talking about, Mascara is going to have the time of his life, and there's really nothing that Denial could do in order to stop this Timbersaw. If they get a little bit too close, suddenly Whirling Death, Timber Chain, whole bunch of pain, and reactive armor to keep him up alive, even the Quelling Blade so that he doesn't get denied. This is a very weak way of laning it. I don't expect this to be the case much longer. I think the play here for Denial is get Bounty Hunter a little bit of experience. I don't know exactly how much, but get him enough so that he could leave and then have the Beastmaster take over. It might work out for them, but so far Timbersaw is going to have 100% free time, and well, up towards top, Innocent is not having the cleanest of times either. He's going to put a lot of damage into Aki. A lot more damage than I really thought. With another Liquid Fire, it's going to be even close to killing him, but it's only level 1 Liquid Fire. But either way, right now, GD, their bottom lane is going to go fantastically for them. Inuyasha is going to have a tough time in the mid lane versus the Venomancer, but it's a Night Stalker we're talking about. Even if he gets slowed down, especially since he's in the solo mid position, he can just explode out of the gates come 4 minutes.
Interestingly enough, Fucking Mad's actually gone for a Quelling Blade in this Bounty Hunter, so maybe roaming's not actually on the table for him at all. They'll instead leave the jungle farm to the Beastmaster and just leave the Bounty Hunter mostly solo versus Matsukiri in this bottom lane. And he's farming decently well on this bounty, but honestly I think the trade that DD are getting is even better. Mid lane I think is the one that should be going in favor of Denial a little bit more than it is, and Yasha for now is having an okay time versus Paris, but as more levels get up into Plague Wards, I don't expect that to maintain the status quo, and Yasha is going to be zoned out one time or another.
So if it is just going to be a farming Bounty Hunter down towards bottom lane, at the very least until level 6 is concerned, he will be going for that. Then you have a purely jungling support Beastmaster, and the benefits of this hero in the jungling role is that once you get level 6, you're turned on and you'll be able to do a lot of things for the team, but outside of that, there are so many other heroes that could be doing this role just so much better. So especially as a first pick, this is not how you want to be using this hero.
For sure. Both teams trading blows up towards the top lane. The only kill has been that single one onto the Bounty Hunter. Witch Doctor trading blows with the Jakiro really isn't a great idea for Aki, and he's been through receiving end of that Liquid Fire coming up from Innocent one too many times. Now level 2 Jakiro can pretty consistently keep that one up. Even though both teams have a decently aggressive lineup or the ability to go aggressive, there really aren't any clear opportunities, at least in this very early stage of the game.
Yeah, it'll change soon enough. Level 6 is when things will really start to get going for both sides, and if not level 6, then 4 minutes, and nighttime is just about to fall. Inuyasha level 5. If he had a little bit more mana, he could make a play for the Venomancer. Let's see if he rolls lucky on the bottom lane rune. If he finds a regen, then he's in business. It's going to be a bounty. I mean, he has a bottle, so it's going to be a full mana restore anyway, and it's still level 3 Void we're talking about, with potentially help from his allies. Paris also does not have a Gale, so Night Stalker, he is effectively on right now, so we'll see if Inuyasha can get anything done. Unfortunately, doesn't have an urn or anything like that. He's going to have to deal with Fucking Mad, and it looks like this is going to be the time when Denial rotate out their Bounty Hunter. I don't know why you would wait for level 5 and not level 6, but it seems like it's time for the Beastmaster to take over down towards bottom.
Then again, maybe he's just going to casually walk up towards top and look to kill off some of these supports. Although, they're entirely mid. Invis onto Illusionist. Paris might be at the receiving end of a huge train of her. With the concussive shots to open things up and the silence, they'll drop a Void onto him. Paralyzing cast with the Maledict on top of it all. It is going to be the kill onto the Venomancer. And Bounty Hunter really doesn't accomplish all that much with the roam at all.
Yeah, and there's not much you can do about that as Venomancer. Once you get silenced, then you're completely screwed. Getting silenced twice with Crippling Fear, and you can't do anything. Even if he had his ultimate, maybe he gets it off. Maybe, but that wouldn't have done anything anyway. So it's a clean kill for DD. Night Stalker going to notch the first one for himself. And he's level 6 right now. Not going to go for that level 6 Darkness. I don't think that's really the build anymore. He's got to really play it by ear, the leveling of Night Stalker nowadays, but he's going to be well on his way to his urn, I would suppose, and he actually does have that one completed. So Night Stalker at that point can roam around very aggressively, and as far as kills that he could take, D-Tax towards bottom lane is extremely easy. Top lane is a little bit more difficult, but still possible. Inuyasha at the bottom line has options right now, whereas for Denial, their options are a lot more limited. Fucking Mad is building a very sneaky route into the top lane, but even if he gets in there, like, I don't think they could actually kill him off because they don't have enough stunning action for Faceless Void.
They really don't. Even if the Ice Path was available, I'm not sure it would have been enough, and that's not even there for the Jakiro. Hasn't leveled it up yet, which isn't super unusual, but now the turn onto Innocent. They have a paralyzing cast going, drop the Maledict first, then the cast, jump through by the Timber Saw going to obliterate the Jakiro. Now into Cryo J, time walk forward. They don't have a Chronosphere, they don't need it with the bashes they're getting, and Cryo J is going to drop. DH is going to be the return kill. It's fucking mad. Is able to secure that one, not expecting the Bounty Hunter. Timber Chain going to miss, and now deep under enemy lines, Mascara needs to be careful. He has another Timber Chain cooling down, will be able to get over across the river. Chakram also going to completely whiff, and for now DD are on a full retreat. They track up Witch Doctor, who's going through a cast to try and disengage. Only bounces to a handful of heroes, and now Timbershine going further. Doesn't have enough mana for Whirling Death, doesn't have the skill point either, and it looks like Mascara is spitting off way more than he can chew. Look for the Timber Chain out, is going to latch, but he dies mid-Timber Chain anyway. Bucky Mad going caught out in the Chronosphere, trying to bring him down, but they just don't have the damage, don't get enough bashes, and now they turn for Illusionist. Time walk away by DH is going to keep him safe for now. The slow coming out from the Venomancer is a constant bane of denial. They bring in the Night Stalker, Void Kill onto the Bounty, very easy as Venomancer looks to pick up the Scarlet Mage. Will be able to do so, but Inuyasha now caught out between 4 enemy heroes. Ultimate from the Venomancer, Inuyasha is going to drop very easily, and it looks like all that it took was one little spark, and all of the action just completely ignited.
Well, end score, it's a 3-for-4 engagement in favor of Denial. Night Stalker coming in, but getting in way over his head. Boots level 1. Actually, wait, no, it's not done yet. Mascara is going to go straight for Innocent. Whirling Death through. No Whirling Death, actually, that was a Timber Chain. He's going to go for another one onto Innocent. Chakram following. That's going to be one kill. Going for Cryo. He has a shield, but I don't think that shield is going to last much longer because Chakram's coming back, and Cryo's going to commit Sudoku. It's probably his best bet at that point. Mascara also going a little bit too ham in that last fight. Like, once he decided to re-engage without any backup going into the side shop area, that was probably the point when it was all lost from DD, but either way, they equalize and then some, the ultimate result of that fight.
Aki. Fucking Mad, I think he found himself an easy kill. Maybe he didn't. Track isn't coming out, and fucking Mad is just going to casually walk away. The invis didn't last long enough, and puppy paws, I suppose.
Huh. So he was just, like, stalking Aki, and then he just didn't track him and go for it?
I thought he was, like, completely screwed. That's a 1-armor hero. He was sitting on, like, 300 health, and that's being generous. 1 Janata hit with the extra Shadow Walk damage. Track level 2 Shuriken Toss. I thought that would have been the end of Witch Doctor's life. Level 1, the Voodoo Restoration might have delayed it, but I think he could have chased him down. Either way, I'll track that one up to lag.
Alright, so freaking lag. Destroying Denial's kill potential, but either way, it's still we have to remember that Denial were working with a couple of track kills. I know Venomancer got 1 track kill at the very least in that top lane fight, so Denial, if they draw even numerically, then they should be taking an advantage with how the fights ultimately pan out, especially if they go for a little bit more. DH over towards mid. He's not in the best positions right now. If he takes a little bit too much chip, he could very easily get burst down by fucking Mad. Although landing the track and the burst damage, that's not going to happen. DH is even going to time walk out, so Faceless Void is not having the best game of his life. He is going straight for a Midas, yet it's already 8 minutes in, and he's still not quite at that item. It's still not terrible for DD, since they do have a Timbersaw and Night Stalker who are pretty happy with their games, and they're going to go for bottom lane. Cryo is so easily diveable right now. If Darkness falls, then Cryo is going to have nowhere to run, because his tree line is going to be obliterated by the Timbersaw. They see Cryo. There's a silence, so there's not even a chance to get any suiciding action off. Night Stalker's going to steal that kill.
Yeah, and Darkness is still going to be fallen for quite a long time as they dive up towards the top onto Aki. Aki, the poor Witch Doctor, just can't do anything about it. Jakiro as well as Bounty Hunter easily dispatch him. With the space, I suppose it was created by the oh my goodness, I can't say Abaddon, or whatever his name is. It's a 1-for-1, but they get the track kill.
And those track kills are going to really add up for the Denial side. It's extra gold for the Bounty Hunter, and taking this very nomadic role, fucking Mad, he's going to need every single scrap of gold that he can get. And as you said, maybe going to be building towards a Dagon down the line. If he does do so, won't be the worst for him. DH going to set up for Innocent down towards bottom. Death Ward not quite there, but Innocent is all alone. It should be a kill regardless, especially if they chain stun with that many lucky bashes. Innocent going to try turn around for some damage because he's dead anyway. Faces Void going to claim a kill up towards top. That's going to be his Hand of Midas 10 minutes in. Again, not the fastest Midas for the Faceless Void, but with this game going the way it is, I think this is perfectly fine. The rest of his team is more than capable of holding down the fort.
For sure. And honestly, as long as he's able to set up for the Witch Doctor Death Ward, he's still going to have damage to pump into that Chronosphere, and also Chakram to a lesser extent from Masakari. So it's still, I think, completely acceptable. As long as he has that cooldown, for the rest of the time, you can just farm up with that Midas and try to delay things as much as possible. Fucking Mad looking to set up on mid. This isn't nighttime, so Yasha, not too fast, is going to be tracked up, and now with the Venomancer ultimate applied, they are going to be able to chase down Yasha pretty effectively, but Timber Chain across with the Whirling Death. They'll be able to bring down one. Can they bring down any more? Masakari, Timber Chain away. They do lose their Night Stalker. That is Venomancer bringing home a track kill. Timber Chain across, it is going to land in fucking Mad. Chakram onto Paris, and this fight just never ends. Paralyzing Gas bouncing through. Backlines, they do have access from the Beastmaster, but honestly, didn't really accomplish much of anything. Does have the Roar, but doesn't find a clean target. Timbersaw over the trees and back into base is going to be completely fine. 1-for-1 trade, but 1-for-1s are fine for denial. Venomancer is collecting pretty big with those. He's going to have the Aghanim Scepter ultimate before even level 10.
Okay, now that's some serious farm from the Venomancer. It's not the farm that we saw from game number 1. Aki, oh no. That's not where he wants to be. He's going to not get tracked, actually. Double TP is going to force the Bounty Hunter away. And Denial there, push to stop cold. Paris also caught in the Chakram. Roar is there to save the Venomancer, but there's no follow-up to actually kill off Masakari. He's losing a lot of mana because of the Chakram, but he's still going to give chase for D-Tax. And actually, the mana situation might not be the best for Timbersaw, so I think D-Tax should be surviving. In fact, everyone on Denial is going to be walking away, yet they make a clean retreat. They put a little bit of damage in tier 2, not too relevant in the grand scheme of things, but you know, if you take what you can get, I think overall the takeaway is that Beastmaster, he is really not doing anything for the team. Maybe the Hawk Vision is dictating their play, and that's really hard to see, but so far it seems like Beastmaster has not really been the most impressive hero in this game. Oh, Inuyasha is going to find a free one. Oh no, Haste Rune. It looked like a free one, but it wasn't.
Free one not confirmed. Paris going to just play games with Inuyasha over here, dropping a couple plague words on top of Inuyasha's head, going to slow him down as he hastes his way towards mid. That is your completed Aghanim Scepter, and it's an okay item to have at level 6 ultimate, but you really want to have that level 2 upgrade. They'll find a jump on a Masakari pretty low on mana, has one more Timber Chain, will be able to make it over towards the right side. Chakram slow into 2, looking for a turn, but doesn't have any backup here. He's going to Timber Chain across again, but dies on impact to a Jakiro right click, and Denial finding themselves a very valuable pickoff.
So many track kills, so much gold for the Bounty Hunter. He is going to pick up his Phase Boots earn, 12 minutes in, 13 minutes in, and that's pretty nice for the start that he has had. He has no CS, at least not relevant amounts of CS, yet they're getting so much off of these kills, and killing off the Timbersaw is especially a high priority target since he is the most deadly hero on the DD side at this point in the game. So Denial off of that, using their maxed out Liquid Fire, maxed out Plague Ward is going to be pushing down the mid-tier 1. DH tracked up, and he has to be very, very careful right now. He is not exactly a tanky hero right now. He has no backtrack, in fact, so with so many tracks flying, if Denial want to pull the trigger, if they find a Roar opportunity, then DD, they're going to be in for a lot of hurt, but it's going to be them to pull the trigger first. They're going to go for Paris. Mystic Flare onto the Venomancer. Can they kill him off before the ultimate comes out? Looks like the answer is no. Faceless Void going to get obliterated by axes, and the Venomancer as well. They're going to take down one on the sideline. The Timbersaw is going to grab that, but give his life for it. Fucking Mad also running away from Inuyasha, but he should be just fine. He has stick charges galore. Paris is also going to get another with the poison damage. Now Aki dueling up against Innocent. Death Ward going to win that fight. Another track onto Aki, though, that they chase forward. One more Shuriken. That's going to be yet another track kill. 4 for 2 in favor of Denial so far. Fucking Mad, though, silenced up. Inuyasha can't afford to give chase, however, doesn't have enough mana for Void, and he does not really have any true sight either. He's going to walk right back into Sentries, now dead. The Beastmaster stuck in a corner. Fucking Mad really wants to fight Inuyasha here. Has Cryo to help out. Phase Boots going to let the Night Stalker walk right through. And Fucking Mad with the Orb of Venom track movement speed. This is going to be yet another track kill. I don't know how many that was, but it seems like it was around 4 track kills, plus the tower. Suddenly Bounty Hunter has 2,300 gold, and suddenly Denial are in a very comfortable position in this game.
That's incredible. This new change up Bounty Hunter really thrives off of the aggressive playstyle that both teams have kind of dropped themselves into, and the scrappy engagements are really working out for Denial this time around, so I suppose they're just going to concede that, okay, we're going to take really spread out, crappy engagements, or not really crappy engagements, but you kind of get my drift. Fucking Mad is now sitting on so much gold, and with only 23 CS too, he's the second highest net worth in the game, only being beaten up by Venomancer, who's been getting most of these track kills.
And man, this is pretty much the draft that Denial really wanted. They want to take the sustained engagements where the dots of the Venomancer and the Jakiro can really start to add up. We have more time for more Janata hits, more time to throw out some tracks, and it is kind of the same fight that DD want to be taking as well. They don't really want to take a full 5-on-5 clash where the ultimate's going to, or the Venomancer is going to be hitting onto everyone. They want the Timbersaw to be running wild. They want to take a pick off or two with the Faceless Void Chronosphere and then just, you know, clean up from there with the Night Stalker and the Timbersaw power, but they are just not making that happen as well as Denial are. They're pretty much getting outplayed right now. This game is pretty much day and night as far as execution is concerned for Denial. They are not playing in a sloppy fashion at all.
Yeah, right now there's going to be some paralyzing gas off to the sidelines. Fucking Mad is going to be spotted out and brought down in a heartbeat.
As soon as I said that.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the caster's curse. As soon as you bring something up, it's gonna happen, inevitably. Dagon completed by the Bounty Hunter before he fell, if I'm not mistaken, so he is going to be going for that Dagon build, and they get a tier 1 tower for it. So it's not all terrible for Denial, but still, definitely can't afford to lose that Bounty Hunter too many times. That is a very high priority kill for DD to take.
Yeah, it's still pretty nice for the Denial side, getting rid of a tier 1 tower, and that's going to restrict the options of DD to reinforce an upcoming Roshan fight. And Denial packing the medallion on the Beastmaster. They have Liquid Fire as well, so they have a couple of really good ways of killing off Roshan. It's not going to be the fastest one in the world, but if they do want to go for Roshan, they should be able to take it decently. And if they respect the Faceless Void Chronosphere, of course, they will be able to make that happen. Denial, they're sitting pretty in this game. They have Travels on the Venomancer, now with that level 2 ultimate with the Aghanims upgrade. Whoever gets hit by that is not completely dead, just mostly dead. And Innocent actually is looking for Aki right now. Mass Carry gonna turn this around, Timber chaining forward. Innocent's gonna get a shield up. D-Tack's gonna roar Aki from across the trees. Macropyre setup is gonna put a little bit of damage into the Witch Dock. That'll kill off one. Mass Carry looking to get himself out of there. Chakram, or Shuriken, not gonna be there. It's actually gonna be Inuyasha, who's also gonna TP out of there, actually. It's just a 1-for-1. That was a track kill for the Denial side, I believe. So, should be to their advantage. Was it a track kill? Looks like it was.
It definitely should be. Honestly, fucking Mad has been pretty on point with just tracking everybody with 4-second cooldown on the ultimate. I don't think there's any good reason to not have tracks on the kills you're getting. And honestly, it does make the Shuriken a lot scarier that you're able to sustain track on the entire enemy team if you're able to pick that up. The duration is 30. You actually can hit a 5-man Shuriken now.
The value. People thought that buff, when it was like first added, is like, oh, it's nice, it's pretty cool, but it's not going to be huge. But if you could actually land 4 tracks and then throw a Shuriken, that's a hell of a lot of damage for just a basic skill. Like, that is a broken amount of damage.
And on a 10-second cooldown too.
Yeah, it requires lots of setup, and the odds of it happening are very low, but the potential is huge.
Yeah. But I think reliably you can get it on 2 to 3 heroes inside the fight. It's definitely good, and I like that he's maxing it out. Even though the scaling is a bit wonky, it definitely is very valuable to have at your disposal. Venomancer still farming up like a champ. They're going to get the track off onto the Witch Doctor. Yule sceptered up into an Ice Path Macrobar. The Timber Chain over the cross, and do get the Chakram off, but the Dagon on the Witch Doctor just too strong. They'll track up Mass Carry as well. He'll be able to Timber Chain away and should make it out to safety, although the dive isn't complete yet. They'll track up the Night Stalker on top of it all, and they have vision of everybody on DD. They'll get Chronosphere on to 3 with the ultimate on the fucking Mad from the Scarf Mage. Going to be end his life, but DH is dropping too low at the Mask of Madness. Can't pursue for anymore. Silenced up. D-Tex is going to be purged off by the Abaddon. That's a double damage rune on Paris. He doesn't have the ultimate for 13 seconds, but it doesn't matter. Inuyasha going to drop. That's another track kill going the way. Now Massacre needs to be careful to not feed any more gold to the enemy team. He's going to make it back to the base, but only just surviving on about 200 or so HP as the tier 2 tower falls.
That was a pretty sweet Ice Path from Innocent. It broke up the momentum of DD so much and just let the Denial side recover and then open up or reinitiate the fight with the Roar and then translate that into a tier 1 tower. No ultimate from Paris, no problem. That's one of the last tier 2 towers down. Unfortunately for Denial, all the kills that they got were really amplified by that track. And Bounty Hunter's also not getting too much experience. He's only level 10 right now. You would expect a level 2 track by now, as most of the heroes are, a good portion of the heroes in this game are at the level 11 mark. Still, the track is certainly adding up for the Denial side, and they're also getting towers on top of that. So though the kill score is still in favor of DD, Denial are skyrocketing ahead in the net worth, mostly because of track, a little bit because of the towers. But either way, they're going to be very happy with their position right now. Assuming they can keep this pressure up. The high ground push from Denial, I think, is going to be soon incoming, probably after this tier 2 tower falls. And I think Denial, they could probably go for this one pretty safely.
Denial definitely love playing their vision game. Between Track and the Hawk, their map vision is quite incredible, honestly. They spot out pretty much every rotation of the enemy team. They've actually changed it to where you can't see the hero heads on the enemy side inside fog. I really like that, actually. You can actually see what they see. Either way, they see 3 of the enemy heroes at the moment.
Well, they're hunting around for pretty much everything because of the low cooldown of Track. Bounty Hunter is going to get vision on everyone. It's going to be Aki, who's tracked up and completely, actually not completely screwed. Dagon not quite lethal, and that will be his survival. Level 4 now in the heal. Prioritizing that even over Cask, and Aki is going to live. If they fully commit Denial, they could have gotten that kill, but didn't really waste too much. That mana will regenerate.
Yeah, and there's a haste rune to fill Bounty Hunter's bottle on top of it. They now have more or less complete map control, so they don't lose anything from that. And 2,400 gold has accrued onto the bounty. Not sure exactly where your item build goes from here. I'm okay if he upgrades the Dagon, or if he goes for some other utility for the team. If they really want to end this game now, I'd love to see if Vlad's, even though they don't have anybody to very heavily benefit from the lifesteal, that extra damage and armor really is a useful utility to have on your side. Tracking up multiple units, they are going to look for a push on the tier 2 tower, just going about this systematically. They currently have vision of 3 of the enemy heroes for the next 30 seconds or so.
That's 4 tracks. Can he make it 5 with the Shuriken toss? I want to see it.
Not well, if he tosses the Void.
Well,
Ice Path, let's see it. Shuriken going to bounce 1, 2, 3, 4 times! Yes! Witch Doctor Deathward going out. They kill off the Void after that fact, and now Masakari going to be roared up and Axe down. They look for more on the backline. It's fucking mad. Going to get Janata onto Aki as well as an Ice Path. Dagon flies through, but not enough damage. The tier 2 tower is still yet to be taken, but they don't seem to care. They're just diving the enemy base relentlessly. Mystic Flare, however, onto the paralyzing targets of the Tibetan. And the Beastmaster going to secure the end of his life, and now fucking mad, completely tapped out of mana. Going to be in a bit of a pickle. The Gale to try and disengage might be enough, although Inuyasha is coming in like a freight train. Ice Path is going to set up nicely for the retreat, as well as the Wall of Plague Wards. Looks like Denial are going to be able to get out cleanly. 4? I think that's enough Shuriken bounces.
That was pretty sweet. That was sweet, man. I did not see how the Faceless Void died. He jumped in, no Chronosphere was used there, and he just got obliterated. But either way, I mean, I was watching the Bounty Hunter, and that was some serious value. He was zoning out so many DD heroes just by himself, so they brought down everyone really darn low. It wasn't really the most kills. In fact, not many people died in that engagement at all, but it's still Denial to take a win because they got more track kills. They killed off a tier 2 tower, and they're setting up for most likely a Roshan at this point. And I guess one of the small things that's great about Denial's draft is that they are really not reliant on ultimates at all. DD at this point, they're not completely reliant on the Faceless Void Chronosphere, but I mean, they really need it if they want to take a good fight. If they don't have a Chronosphere, it's still possible for them to win a fight, but right now they're just falling further and further behind, despite being ahead in last hits and denies. The net worth just not really working out for them, and well, it's going to be fucking mad to wander into a sentry. I mean, that was bound to happen eventually.
I think so too. It happens every once in a while when you're a bounty, and they'll jump in for the Chronosphere onto an illusion. Ultimate from the Witch Doctor, are you kidding me? Either way, it's still going to be a nice pickoff for them, especially that experience swing going to be very much in their favor, and a lot of gold in the pockets of the Night Stalker. Yule Scepter however onto said Night Stalker into the Ice Path Macro Card. Gale, that's going to be the end of his life after the axes flying through. Survived for a little bit longer because of the armlet, but doesn't matter. Aki is also going to lose his life. Unfortunately for Denial, they don't have Bounty Hunter to give them track bonus gold for that, but even after a really smooth pickoff by DD, they lose more out of it. Denial are now poised to put some high ground pressure or maybe back off for a Roche.
Man, it's incredible. When you have a Bounty Hunter in the game, when you see these kills, instead of, wow, Denial are getting 2 kills, the only thing I can think of is, oh my god, they're losing so much Bounty Hunter value right now. They could be getting so much more. But it's still 2 kills going on with Bounty Hunter, and kills are kills. It's kind of the same thing with Legion Commander. Whenever you see a dual list kill, you're like, no, the value, it's lost. But whatever. They're going to go for Roshan, and Roshan is hitting like 1 attack every 5 minutes or so. This is very safe, very secure, and DD, they have no way of contesting this. A double life for, I don't really know who. maybe fucking mad. There's no one who's really great with an Aegis on Denial's side, but either way, they're going to get a lot more golden experience from this.
It'll be for Paris, and I think that's a valid choice, even though he really wants to have his ultimate for both lives, and that's just not possible. Just being able to spam out those plague wards and just being a general nuisance to the enemy team is going to be nice for them. Fucking mad. He probably won't die like that again, although I think he's probably the better holder of that. Just the amount of abilities for them to kite the enemy team through Yule Scepters in particular is quite impressive. TP away from Illusionist. Where is that actually going? All the way back to base. Interesting. Well, they know exactly where he is.
They will soon know exactly where everybody is. Tracks are flying left and right. Macro Pyre set up on Inuyasha just for a little bit of damage. Innocent actually dropping pretty low on mana after that one, but his Liquid Fire will still flow. There's no real way to work around that. Everyone and their mom is tracked up right now, except for DH. I think this is the exact same scenario as last time. Everyone tracked but the Faceless Void. So Denial, they have full-on vision of everything right now. And they really have to be careful, DD, because if anyone gets picked off, first of all, they need everyone for this defense. Second of all, if anyone gets picked off, that's so much gold, like an outrageous amount of gold going into the pockets of Denial. And Denial don't even have their full squad here, yet they're pressuring DD to have their full squad in the mid lane. Venomancer's pushing up the top lane, so soon enough DD are going to have to worry about 2 lanes. And quite frankly, they're struggling to deal with just one.
I really want to see Bounty Hunter throw more shurikens like that. I mean, it is on just a 10-second cooldown. I think he can throw them out a little bit more liberally. Not sure it matters. Yule Scepter Ice Path onto Massacre. They don't really have the follow-up there. The Dagon flies through, shuriken bounces the Witch Doctor and the Timbersaw, but just some casual harass thrown here or there. Timbersaw is going to regen that up soon enough, but now it's Paris on the high ground. He has a Mantis Cell as well as that ultimate. Aghanim Sceptered up to level 16, only going to be on the Night Stalker. But I don't think that really matters. DD are completely zoned off of this tier 3 tower. Concussive Shot flies through, Yule Scepter onto the Scarth Mage, jumping through the Chronosphere, but the Yule Scepter has proved to be too much. Innocent is dropping low. He looks like he's going to fall, but another Yule Scepter, he's going to live. They lose the Aegis onto the Venomancer on the backlines, as well as the Jakiro on the front. Everybody's tracked up, but nobody's fallen just yet, except for the Witch Doctor. Paris on the front lines, trying to chase down Massacre. Massacre has a decent amount of mana. Is it enough? Shuriken bouncing back and forth does bring down the end of Scarth Mage's life, and now the Night Stalker also going to suffer a similar fate, but do they have the damage? No! He's back from the base. Denial, however, take not the tier 3 tower yet. They still have a long ways to go on this tower push. The zone is nice, but I'm not sure they actually get anything out of this.
Well, Massacre is still in the front lines. I think Denial could have done so much better if Venomancer didn't YOLO dive up the high ground. If he actually just waited for his team, played the slow and steady game, then it could have gone a lot better for Denial. They'd still take a couple of kills, which is fine. I mean, that's pretty much the goal. I don't really know how many of those are tracks. I would assume, let's say, half of them are tracks at any given stage, so lots more gold for Denial. They could have broken the tier 3 tower and probably Rax's, though, if they were a little bit more patient. Paris running into the enemy base like that is less than ideal as far as initiation is concerned, and they kind of got also obliterated by that Chronosphere. So DD, they hold on to all their structures, yet they're still falling further and further behind when it comes to these track kills, and when it comes to the kill trades in general. Denial, they kind of throw away their Aegis, though, so that was a really questionable way of approaching that fight for Denial. Regardless, they're still going to be happy with how it went down. Still, fucking mad is tracking up everyone, and as you said, I would like to see more shuriken tosses. You have Dagon and Yule Scepter. You're not going to run out of mana anytime soon. Yeah, 7.4 a second. He is maintaining constantly enough mana to get those tracks off. I think he can afford some for just tracks here and there. But either way, DD, they do have a really important item pickup, but Massacre is really the only one that's keeping up as far as the effective items are concerned. Hand of Midas is nice for the Faceless Void, but really all he has on top of that in effective damage is the Mask of Madness, and survivability is just there from the Ogre Club and point booster towards an Ags. Though, I don't know, DD, they just need a little bit more time, and that time might not be there. Denial can't step on the gas, or can't step on the brakes, rather. They just need to keep up this pressure, and if they do, they're well poised to take this game. If they don't, Faceless Void could complete up a major item. They are going to jump solo onto Illusionist. Yule Scepter cancel a TP. Everybody and their mother has a Yule's. Mystic Flare return on the Paris, just not enough damage. Mantis Cell split, and that's going to be the end of Scarth Mage's life. And now just TP straight up towards top. No ultimate necessary. He's going to have the fight. Double Yule Scepter. Ice Path down on the ground. Ultimate onto both DH as well as the Timbersaw. That's going to eat through the pipe almost instantly. Faceless Void down before a single chrono or spell, for that matter, could be dropped. And now Denial going to push up high ground. Gale into the Night Stalker. 2 heroes are tracked up. Massacre looking for the Timber Chain away. Can't get it. The Ice Path going to deny that from him. That's going to be 3 kills going the way of Denial and a tier 3 tower to boot. so much track value, so much gold. If I'm Bounty Hunter, I'm just ruffling all over the place right now because he is loaded. And they're going to break up the high ground successfully. No Scarith Mage, and, well, I mean, the point of that Scarith Mage kill is just, first of all, take a raw numeric advantage, but also no Chronosphere combo. Not like it mattered, Chronosphere wasn't even there. Illusionist also going to respawn straight into his death. Yet another track kill for the Denial side. They've taken their set of Raxing, and now they're going to keep tracking up everyone. Have to worry about Mass Carry, again, the most threatening hero in the game on the DD side right now, but they will just retreat Denial. They're going to slide over to the mid lane and wait for a creep wave to reinforce, or just not wait for a creep wave to reinforce. Get some really free harassment there, and this is going to be one set of Raxing at the very least for Denial. They're going to go for a second. It's going to be a lot more difficult to actually get that to land correctly, but it's not impossible, especially when they open up on the Wish Doctor. Tracks are everywhere, but there's no follow-up for this one. So Denial, they're going to get one set. Probably that's it for now, but I mean, that's good enough.
Yeah, looks like fucking Matt's going to be going for a Battle Fury on this Bounty Hunter. Everybody's favorite build, I know, but honestly, I think it's completely fine. The extra wave clear is nice, and the sustain is even nicer. And for raw damage, Battle Fury is pretty good. Rushing Battle Fury and Bounty Hunter in your pubs is probably against suggestion, but what else is he going to get? I personally probably would have just upgraded the Dagon, but to each his own.
Is it?
Oh no, it's
Spear?
Lincoln's. It's Lincoln's.
Okay.
Wait, is it? What is it actually blocking?
Crippling Fear?
I suppose
Silence?
so. I think
Ancient
both
Seal?
of the items are pretty sketchy. Ancient Seal is probably the most useful, but who's he actually going to use it on? Maybe Venom?
I think no matter what, Dagon is just better.
Fair enough. Either way, they're going to continue the push, and honestly, it probably doesn't matter since they are a lane up at 31 minutes into this game. Necronomicon 3 picked up by the Beastmaster, and if they find a single pickoff, could be huge. And that pickoff might be on Illusionist. Straight TP out inside his own base. Will he even make it? He will at 200 HP or so, but that's scary. Scarith Mage can feel safe. Where his tier 3 tower once stood. Liquid Fire is going to constantly put some damage in his tier 3 tower and eventually take it. 4 staffs will keep him safe.
And DD, in this type of scenario, they have no winning. There is no winning scenario here for DD unless they break this mold somehow. But it's not them causing any form of initiation. If anything, it's Denial just constantly getting this free chip damage. Shuriken's going to be thrown. Yule Scepters everywhere, as you said. It's going to mean that Denial are constantly looking for initiation opportunities, and Liquid Fire is free. So these towers are slowly bringing down. There's a nice Chronosphere onto 2. There's no Death Ward here, however, because Aki's stuck in the Ice Path. Fucking mad. Dropping pretty low, but he will get himself up into the air. Paris also get his ultimate onto pretty much everyone. And all of those heroes are just going to melt. Mascara in the front lines. Aki is slowly dying to poison. He'll drop as well. Inuyasha trying to go for Innocent, but that's not going to happen. Even the BKB, the Night Stalker, can do nothing but run. And I don't think he could run fast enough. He'll wear out his BKB in the Ice Path. That's going to be 4 down with a whole bunch of track kills to boot. And the mid lane is busted wide open. Denial are going to take this game. And they're going to knock DD down to the lower bracket.
After the longest times of obscurity, maybe Bounty Hunter is time to start being considered as a top-tier pick. I quite like the plan from them, and just trading even really gave them such a huge advantage with that track gold. It's going to be a 2-1 victory for Denial, and that's going to mean that we are going to have, Donkey Dota face up against Space Soldiers. I'm not exactly sure who's going to be streaming that or when, because we're going to be going on to the American finals here on HeflaTV too. So that'll be coming up shortly, so stay tuned. We'll have more Dota eventually. That's probably in about an hour, so whether the stream stays online or not is another story. I've been GrandisV, and he's been Mike Loris. If you like the casting, you can follow us personally at GrandisV and at Mike Loris, and here on HeflaTV at HeflaTV on Twitter, Facebook, and here on Twitch. VODs will be uploaded to youtube.com/HeflaMoke. And as far as the series is concerned, any final thoughts?
I hope to see more Night Stalker. I hope to see more Bounty Hunter, but these games are just so messy. It's a win, technically, but I don't think anyone is feeling really good about how they won these games.